Welcome back, everybody, to a very special edition of Nain's Shorts slash Kali Conversation. Nain's short Kali Conversation?
I don't know if it's going to be short, but yeah, something to that effect.
Well, folks, the reason why this is a special short slash Kali Conversation is because, as we all have noticed, things are kind of getting back into
weird normal,
whatever the hell that means. But family events are coming up. I mean, there's quinceañeras, there's trips, there's a lot going on now, and it's really difficult to kind of do both because we want to spend time with our family. I mean, it's been a year since we've seen them.
It's been a year, and I've been getting some flack from the missus.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, we don't want to end up like you.
Well, she's Go back and watch other episodes.
Yeah. As it was mentioned,
it's been mentioned a few times. Been mentioned several times.
So I just thought that, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that you learned something from me.
There you go.
The other way around.
You go. I have to do some quality time with the missus.
Well, we're going
to be away for the weekend, so.
And I'm going to be with family. I mean, it's a full family trip, so we're both going to be gone this weekend. And, we're not the only ones.
And we kind of deserve it, by the way.
Oh, we do. I mean, we haven't missed a week.
No, we haven't.
For so long. This would be, I guess, the first.
Yeah, and I felt that it would be a good thing to miss a week rather than rush and get something done and
and then not be up to the standard.
Right.
Because apparently we have a standard now.
Yeah. I don't think so.
No,
it's below standard. It's below. We have a below standard.
We don't want to go negative.
We have the bare minimums.
Bare minimum
of a standard.
I don't know, because again, we never set out to do any of this. We never really.
Yeah, and I tell you, folks, this stuff really took up a lot. Or is taking up a lot of our time.
Ooh, I mean, we had so much time during COVID.
Well, we both have full-time jobs.
Families.
And we're teaching, I'm back to teaching students.
We are getting back to regular classes, too.
So this has been taken, like you said, during COVID.
It was easy.
It was easy because we didn't have a lot of the stuff we're doing now. Mm-hmm. Now that things are kind of coming back, we do now have to juggle our time a little more better.
Does it feel like we're training more now?
I think so. I mean, I got like 3 students that I have to do, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we have the Saturday classes. So we're keeping pretty busy. I actually have a class tomorrow with one of the kids.
Oh, no way. Okay. Yeah.
So it's been interesting.
I might be able to join you tomorrow too, because
I'll let you know. Cause he's gonna confirm with me.
Got it.
So we'll be sure to.
This is how busy we are. We have to keep track of each other and remind each other what we have going on because it's becoming a lot.
Yeah, surprisingly, it kind of crept up on us.
Oh yeah.
Starting just a couple of months ago
because we were just chugging along and just going and this and that, and all of a sudden, oh well, we can't schedule this because people are busy. Oh well, I got this going on.
Yeah, some people are going back to work.
I got this going on.
Yeah.
People are. It's like wow. I didn't realize how much COVID helped us in this endeavor.
Yeah, and folks, you have to also realize it's just the 2 of us doing this.
Yeah.
So we don't have anybody to scheduling. We don't.
No. We don't even have a sponsor.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get some, but
Melba makes that that crazy drink for us. So
that is pretty good.
She's our sponsor.
Yeah, she's our sponsor. She's the one keeping him alive.
So let me ask you this: since this is part of your Nain Shorts, what do you got for the short part of this?
Well, the short part of this.
You like that?
All right. He's been working on his jokes. He's been writing.
Yes.
No, you posed an interesting question. We were discussing the shorts as we usually do. I was throwing ideas out. You were filling in some holes in the sense of giving me an audience perspective of my ideas. And we came to the question of what do we actually teach?
Right.
Because before we get into that, we have to preface that the Bladed Mind, as much as it's called a system by some of the people we know, it isn't. We don't have a set structure. We don't have a set curriculum. We have some...
As of yet, because Danny's writing a book.
As we don't.
Okay.
Danny will one day, and he may create it into a system. I don't know. We can't speak for him. He has a lot of great ideas, but that's what the Bladed Mind was an idea.
Right.
And for me, from the very beginning, the way that you guys taught me, it was a teaching module. It was a way to teach, but also a way to learn.
Yeah, and we've always said, it's not what we teach, but how we teach.
How. And it became a way... And in my personal journey, my mind went from being all over the place to actually being able to focus.
Right.
Filter out unnecessary things and really focus on what it is that I was trying to do. And in that example, it pretty much sums up what the Bladed Mind is.
And talking to the other students, though, they all have a different take on it as well, though. Risa uses it strictly for combative.
Right. Self-protection.
Yeah, self-protection.
Right.
She isn't doing the same thing you are.
Right.
And we get these other little things. Confidence builder for some of the guys.
Some of the people have become different than who they were when they walked in.
Right.
Other people are looking for that. Some people just want to beat up their husbands. They shall go unnamed. But it's not a fighting art in that sense.
No, I think it's more of an, like you said, it's an idea of how you learn things.
Mm-hmm.
And and Danny's always said it doesn't matter what system or what style you're using with this, or even for that matter what you're doing. It could be something with microbiology.
Right.
As one of our students.
One of our students used this for microbiology, and he got better results in teaching his students based on the Bladed Mind mentality.
The way it was being taught was totally different. The way we teach it, he taught it to his biology class.
Which was
amazing.
It's less about doing the physical stuff. We've never stressed the physical stuff. Right. It's very basic, diagonal strikes, horizontal, up and down, and that's it. There's nothing really to it. We give it a numbering structure of the clock system, but it's really arbitrary. We could have called it anything.
Right.
And it wouldn't have mattered because it is the way that the information is then given.
Right. And then also, and I think this is the important part, how that information is received by the student.
You had mentioned the individual.
The individual.
And I wanted to jump on that at the moment, but you were making some other points, and I'm being respectful to my elders.
Whatever. First time. I'll jot that down somewhere.
Again, watch the episode, see how respectful I am to. Because it is imperative, and the Bladed Mind would not work if Danny, yourself, and even now me as an instructor had taken the time to really understand how each individual student absorbs information.
And part of that also is how we semi-direct the student. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of manipulation involved.
Yeah, we have to make sure that you're looking at the right thing, but then you still draw your own conclusions to them, don't you?
Well... And I think that's the folly in a lot of teachings is that regardless of what is given to you, whether it's from a textbook, whether it's physical stuff, whether it's training, you will eventually put your own flavor on it. You will your own experiences. Each person has lived different lives, and even if they've lived the same life, say two twins grew up exactly the same environment, they will still come up with their own individual ideas. Exactly. One of the worst things that police officers have to go through is eyewitness accounts.
Right.
Because they all saw the same event, but each one of them will give a different telling, a different perspective.
Right.
On one side, it's one thing. On the other, it's completely different. The game of telephone.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where we as instructors really have to understand that student. What are the three things that I told you are important about teaching?
What do you know about the subject? What does the student know about the subject? And what's the actual lesson that we're trying to give? And this is something that I've been playing with lately, and I kind of had an epiphany during one of our classes a couple weeks ago, I think it was.
Who's Tiffany?
She's a new student.
Oh, epiphany. A light bulb.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, just bling, okay. A clarity, moment of clarity for the alcoholics.
Epiphany.
The epiphany.
I thought you said a Tiffany.
Not a Tiffany.
Continue.
I thought you were just blind, and now I get that.
Deaf and dumb.
Deaf and dumb. That, unlike all the other lessons that we give in the Bladed Mind,
right.
that idea actually has a sequence.
Yes.
You have to start with what you know first.
Right.
Then after that, you have to evaluate what the student knows, doesn't know.
Right.
And the fascinating thing about following that process is that when you combine those two together, the third part, what the lesson is, almost reveals itself.
Right, to the individual.
Because it grows from a combination of the two.
Right. And it's designed that way because by understanding that student and how they interpret or understand whatever's given to them.
Or the limitations that they have in their learning.
Right. And then you can then cater to that individual so they're able to learn the way they understand things.
Right.
And that's what changes. And that's where we manipulate what they're actually going to get.
And that's where the Bladed Mind really shines, is in that repetitive process. Because like all training, there's a repetition to it.
Right.
And every time you repeat it, you peel back a layer of understanding of the individual. So, of course, the lesson then has to change. Because the first two are now evolving, let's say, in our understanding. We're deepening how we get the information and what we know about the information. So then, of course, the lesson itself has to evolve. Recently, you let me take over one of the classes for one of our students. And before we even got into the lesson that we were going to start, we just played. And in that play, just focusing on the individual, I saw, okay, he needs this, he needs that, he needs this. And it wasn't so much that I was trying to get him to move a certain way, but is what his movements reveal to me about his personality, about the way he learns, and what he was lacking in his understanding. You ask him a question and he says, oh, well, this is what I'm trying to work on. You missed the lesson completely. Let's go back. Let's rehash it. Let's see if we can say it a different way. And then by the end of the class, he's moving differently. He's understanding. Sure, it may not be any better, but it's the way that he performs. But the
understanding was much, much better.
It's clearer, so it becomes more effective. Even a sloppy strike done with proper mentality will be effective.
Right. And I think when we start to look at that individual and we understand their process within themselves,
right,
then we can better give more context to what we say.
Right.
Right. It just makes it that more clear for them.
Because that's what you're trying to get across. I'm not trying to convince an audience. I'm not trying to convince the masses. I'm trying to help the individual see things better for themselves.
Right. And it can be a hard task.
Some people are difficult. Some people won't open up.
Yeah, and you have to figure that out. You have to figure out what can I do to open that up and get them to say, oh, okay, I understand.
And I don't like praising you too much because I feel like your head's going to get bigger. But
that's why we're outdoors.
You have a knack for it.
Yeah.
You have this desire to teach or show a glimpse of the way that you see things.
Right.
And that's not easy.
It's, I don't know. I've been doing security work.
Yeah.
And in security work, and I've been doing it almost 40 years.
Right.
You start to read people, because that's what we do. We're constantly watching people. We got to understand how they move, why they move, why they do what they do. And that afforded me that ability, to be able to look at somebody and see what it is that makes them tick.
Right.
And and what do we do sometimes? We get into, is everything okay at home? We talked about, what's going on with your life? Because it gives us more information. Then we start to understand better, and then we can use that as a tool to get them to do much better.
Lately, I've been having these moments where, just the other day, which is very odd. My girlfriend and I we were walking through a corner store, and we were discussing meeting her parents. And then I was like, hey, maybe I should get this for your dad. It was a bottle of wine. And she was like, wow, that's his favorite brand. I'm like, Like, really? But information, all of a sudden, my brain is starting to put together information that I may not be conscious of, which, what do we call that? Instinct?
Yeah, intuition.
Intuition, gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
That's your brain processing information on a level that you can't do consciously.
Right, because as information is given to you, at the moment that it was given to you, you don't think much of it.
Not important.
Not important at all. But as you go and you learn new things, it starts to coincide with the other stuff you learned earlier that you said didn't matter at the moment.
And it starts.
But now it starts weaving into each other and says, oh, this is what we've been talking about. And therein lies the absolute reason why the lessons work the way they work. Because when we do the exercises first, right, we teach an exercise first that are based on the movements of the combative stuff. 3 months down the road, we start doing the combative stuff, and then they see, wait, this is the exercise that we learned from the very beginning.
The stretching.
Now there's a correlation, and it's like then everything starts to click, and then they start to understand, oh.
Yeah, the physical is not important.
This is what I'm actually learning.
Exactly. And the great thing about it is the example I just gave about the wine. It's fairly innocuous. It helps me, but really, who else does it help? But when you talk about combative, in a combative setting, in a high-stress situation, all that information is incredibly important and incredibly useful.
And if you harp on it as much as you can and start thinking about what it is that is, then your instincts and your intuition become much faster
and sharper.
And it's sharper and it's clear as day.
Right.
And when you go to do the things, you're actually doing all right.
Right, because it's the mental process of breaking things down. If we're practicing something that's essentially a mock attack,
right?
You know, I give you an attack. Even on my side, as the feeder, my intent is there. I'm going slow, but I'm trying to hit you at a certain spot. I'm trying to hit you in the head. I'm trying to hit your arm. I'm trying to cut you in a certain way.
Right.
So your brain is picking up on all that information, innocuous as it is to you at that moment, because, oh, he's going slow, so I'm just trying to learn the lesson. But really, you're picking up so much information because everything is done to a certain degree, whether it's going slow, whether it's going fast. So we're feeding the brain information and things to recognize. So when it happens in real time, your brain is already processing that information without you having to be aware of it.
Right. See, the other thing that, we played earlier today, right? And I did a drill with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what that drill was?
Sombrado.
Okay. And that's what, a 3-count drill?
Yeah.
Right. And as we moved along, what did I do?
Well, the first time, you changed it into nothing that I could recognize.
Right. And what happened to you?
I started chasing, trying to keep up. But halfway through it, I realized, wait, why am I trying to keep up with him? What was my focus prior to this when everything was structured? Oh, I was focusing on him. Why am I now focused on his weapon when it becomes unstructured? And something just clicked in my head, and I was able to keep up with all these different changes that no longer mattered because I focused on what I wanted to focus on and not what you wanted me to focus on.
Right. And by doing that, I mean, the initial change from the structured to unstructured send a crazy message to your head, like, what the hell's going on? What the fuck, right? And I kept at it.
Right.
And I didn't let you catch, get in line, do whatever you're trying to do. And then I went back to the drill. Mm-hmm. And you caught up and you realized, okay, I'm okay now again. Then I changed it again. You're like, and then after all you said, wait a minute. Why am I allowing this?
Right.
Why am I letting it? So we've always said on a lot of the shows that whatever we do is always unchoreographed.
Yep, off the cuff.
And the reason why we can do that is this very explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we no longer look at strikes as drills or techniques or anything. We just understand something is coming. I have to do something with it.
Yeah, we don't study patterns. We don't study repetitive things or techniques. We study the idea of what's going on behind that.
Right.
Whether I'm hitting you with a 1, a 2, a 4, a 5, whether it's a knife, a stick, there's details within all of those that can be found in everything,
right?
In all those movements. So why not focus on those?
You know, a lot of people when Karate Kid first came out, the original, when that first came out, everybody thought it was silly. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, right? But a lot of that is based on truth, though. If you look at it and you say, okay, yeah, a lot of things that we do would be those things. And once you start to realize that, like you said, as innocuous as it seems,
right?
Oh, oh shit! Oh, so, right? There they are.
Yeah. Now you put a combative idea behind it. Oh, and you have something.
Right.
Danny Hubat Lubat,
yeah.
or what we call Perry Play Strep. Right. How does he practice it? Opening the door.
Right.
Turning the doorknob. Oh, okay. Now I open it with this one. Oh, it gives me that. And he's constantly playing these ideas with simple everyday motions.
And it's not the 1, 2, 3 pieces.
No.
It's just the single pieces of Perry Place Trap. It's just Perry Place or Trap. And it isn't because there has to be a sequence. No, there shouldn't be. It should be as random as possible, and you throw in what you need at the moment, and go from there.
I should just realize something that it's stupid. So because I drive different size buses and I'm constantly in and out of things, I actually find myself every once in a while closing the door in various ways, whether I'm throwing an elbow back, whether I'm using elbow, whether I'm pushing, whether I'm and in my head I'm just having fun, but I'm really acting out the ideas behind those points of context.
And I think we all do that. I mean, even other systems.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're just playing around, how do I close the door? Pop, pop. And you do all these things because your brain, it's there.
Oh, yeah.
And